hopefully Raul is going to join us soon. But I suggest we will kick off, okay? Just to confirm, which of my screen are you guys seeing? I hope the flyer.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. For some reason, Duke, I don't know. Your picture does not display. I don't know why.
It's there. Okay, it's there.
Yeah, but at least I hope the others can actually see it too.
What format of picture did you send to?
I think Raul is here. Raul, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I think I heard something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah, he's telling me he's not hearing anything though. Maybe I'll send him just send him the invite directly. Guys, 1 minute, let me figure this out. Meeting info.
We know people are like this in conversation, and it's very hard to listen to somebody if you know that you're being judged and found wanting at the same time.
Okay. Raul, we still can't hear you. I really don't know why you have the technical issue. Maybe try with the
No, but I think now it's set.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. I think we are all set. Everyone is here. I suggest we kick off because we have a lot to cover, right? So everyone, welcome to this event. The title of the event, as you can see on my screen, is a panel discussion on AI and data analytics opportunities for degree holders 2024 and beyond. Okay, so the goal is just for us to have a roundtable discussion, no formalities, but beforehand, the attendees already sent their questions, so I'll present the questions and maybe I delegate someone to answer, but feel free if you're motivated to add something, don't hesitate to do so, okay? Okay, so for the agenda, this is what I have in mind. So we'll just have a welcome from myself, then panel introduction. Then we'll move straight away to the questions and answers, okay? Then I have some offers for the audience as well, so please stay put to the end. Okay, so just a bit about me. I think if this is the first time attending a Graffiland event, then it's good I introduce myself, but I think majority of you have at least attended once, but I'll just go through the normal formalities. So I'm Ivo Kubam, and I'm a Cameroonian residing in Belgium, and I'm the founder of Graffiland. So Graffiland is the organization or the company organizing this event, and I'm also an AI and data analytics consultant. That is why probably you hear me talk about AI and data analytics all the time. It's because my background is around that area, and also our panel is made up of guys with so much experience, and I believe that you're going to leverage a lot from them as well. I'm not all about AI and data analytics. I really love reading. Recently, I've been really invested my time in reading and exploring other areas as well. I love playing football, and swimming and traveling is some of my hobbies. Okay, if you really need to know more about me, I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. You can, connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And why not? You can also send me an email. Maybe if you have something personal to chat, we can also have something to talk about through email. Okay. Before I move to the panel introduction, I just want to, for those that, if this is your first time attending an event organized by Graffiland, I just want to remind you what Graffiland is all about. So at Graffiland, we really specialize in streamlining SMEs talent acquisition. So we deliver talents that are proficient in AI, data analytics, and industry knowledge. That is very important because we have realized that for SMEs to really grow, they really need guys that they have a fusion of AI and data analytics and the industry knowledge, not only being too technical or also just having industry knowledge. But if you can fill that gap, and with the fusion of all these skills, we believe that SMEs can flourish. So core to our offering, we have this framework that we have developed. So, before maybe there was no system or there was no framework in order for you to land a job in any field. So we thought it wise to have like a framework that if you implement this framework, there is a guarantee or it can increase your chances of landing a job. So it just consists of 6 phases. So you start with career coaching, then you move to the skill development. Then we also do like work integrated learning for you to get some experience. Then we focus on professional branding to make you suitable in the job market and also help you with job placements. And hopefully you become an industry professional and then and also hopefully you should be able to join our professional community. And the nice thing about this framework is 100% free. You can download the framework, you read the framework, and you can implement on your own. But if you need help as well, you have our industry professionals that can help you implement this framework. So you can just either scan the QR code to download the framework, but I'm still going to provide you the link in the chat section so that you can access this framework for free. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce the panel. So maybe we just, for some reason, again, your picture still doesn't display. But at least Duke is there. Duke, the video is on. So I will start from my left. So I think maybe Victor and then Raul, Duke, and Fua, you guys can introduce yourselves.
Okay, thank you, Ivo. So I'll start. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Victor Kubam, and yeah, I'm the brother of Ivo. But besides that, also I am working in the field of data and analytics for quite a while now. I specialize around machine learning, AI. In fact, deploying and streamlining AI applications, so bringing AI to the forefront of innovation and operational excellence. And if I'm not working, I also play a lot of football. So yeah, if you want to have fun, sometimes you can play football. So that's a little bit about me. So maybe, I pass the floor to Raul.
No, thanks, Victor. So I am Raul. Happy to be here to be able to have this opportunity to discuss with you guys. So I'm Raul, risk and actuarial professional, but my background is more statistics, right? And I've had, let's say, I started my career as a biostatistician. So also now more in the financial services, however, making use of all the skills that we learn from the university in terms of data modeling, data analytics, and so forth, to serve clients in Europe on everything around data management, data analytics, and so forth. So on my free time, what do I do? Also football and listening to music.
Okay, great. I think everyone's a footballer. I hope Duke is a footballer too.
So you see, football is is a necessary ingredient to become a data proficient.
Yeah, Duke. You're muted. Yeah.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. First of all, greetings to everyone, and I'm happy to be part of this wonderful evening where we're here to share ideas and have some discussions. So, yeah, I'm Duke Assam. I've also been working in the field of data science, data analytics, and AI for about 7 years now. And with a background as well, like Raul, in statistics. And yeah, so what I enjoy doing is using AI and data science, data analytics to help companies leverage their data, get more insights to help them to make better decisions and improve their processes. And what do I like doing in my spare time? While Victor and Rahul like to play football and Ivo, I enjoy coaching them.
Okay.
So I like watching football. Let's say.
Okay, great. Last but not the least, Four.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be on this great panel. So I'm called Foy. The other name is Tay from Mancon. I'm based in Cameroon. I am a software engineer with background in mathematics and computer science. And today I'm an entrepreneur that's building and selling software. So I've been doing that for over 18 years today. And of course, very interested in always new technologies, and AI, big data, it's actually the future. So I'm a very keen enthusiast about big data, AI, and always finding ways in which I can improve my applications using these new technological trends. So I think that is just a little bit about me. And in my spare time, which I rarely have, yes, I'm also on the pitch, soccer, playing soccer, and also reading. So I think that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks for that. Thanks for that introduction. It was quite wonderful again to get to know your background. Okay, so the next phase is, so what I did was before this meeting, I already grouped the questions into sections, right? So the first set of questions we're going to see falls under skill development and career advancement. Like I mentioned before, I'll just request someone to answer, but if you feel motivated to add something, you can just go ahead as well. So the first question is, what techniques can I use to acquire AI and data analytics skills effectively, given the confusion caused by informal videos? I think now if you go on YouTube and you type AI and data analytics, you'll be overwhelmed by the amount of videos or resources you can find. Same thing on LinkedIn or wherever you want to leverage resources. So I believe a lot of people are finding it quite challenging to what to do when they learn on those kind of resources. So I would like to kick this off with Raul. Raul, what is your expert advice on this?
So to me, there is there's no one solution fit all, right? So it's about first identifying your gaps, because depending on your background, some people are more inclined or have already some predefined experience or exposure to programming. Some others are more they'll be playing around with data at some point using Excel file and so forth. So depending on your background, you can be able to tailor down or to better identify the type of trainings that you will need, right? And to be maybe more specific, I think instead of listening to YouTube videos, I think it will be better to follow some online courses. There are quite a few that are available online on certain websites, especially I think also Harvard University is giving some trainings in that. That way, you follow a training, which is often free. Sometimes in order to get a certification, you have to pay a given amount of money. However, the idea is that once you follow the given training, it's good to substantiate it with an attestation, that you can then use when applying for a job or whatever, well, as evidence that you have followed the course. In terms of specific techniques, yeah, I mean, I don't want to limited. So I rather approach it from a more holistic perspective. So I don't know what the others have to say about it.
Okay, thanks, Raul. I don't know, someone, Duke, Victor, are you motivated? Have you maybe tried to learn more skills? I believe normally what you know now is not what you learn at school. So how have you been, upgrading yourself or upskilling yourself so far?
Duke, you're talking, maybe you unmute yourself. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, for me, I think one advice I can give is that first of all, you have to identify, like Rahul said, what skills you are lacking, and try to develop them using the more professional means. There's a lot of information out there, too much resources. So for me, I would say, follow online courses, follow, depending on your background, take some university courses as well, read books. One important thing that I would say is that you should join AI communities, networks, because in these places you can meet other professionals who can coach you. And in these networks, they also share information, share knowledge about if somebody, for example, uses a technique to do one novel application, they come there to share knowledge and explain, and so you get this free coaching with such by joining such communities, and a lot of knowledge as well.
Okay, Duke, thanks for that. Thanks for that input. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Dam is raising their hand. I don't know. Maybe you want. I don't know. Maybe you want to say something. Then if I jump in.
Yeah. Thank you, Duke. Thank you, Raul, for the ideas. I also just want to add a little bit. So, like the person is asking, what techniques can I use to acquire AI and data analytics skills effectively? I just want to answer the question exactly as it is asked. And I want to say the technique you can use is you should build a roadmap for yourself. And I strongly believe informal videos help, but the way you go about it really matters. So first of all, you need a roadmap. So for example, you can watch 20 informal videos about learning SQL, but then SQL was part of your roadmap. So it really helps you, right? So the very first technique to acquire AI and data analytics skills is you should have a roadmap, which is something we actually really, really do at Graffiland here. So irrespective of your university degree, we could put you down and have like a career coaching with you and tell you, okay, this is the roadmap we think is best for you to follow to become a data analyst, business analyst, or whatever you're interested in, especially in the data analytics or AI field. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks Thank you, Dam.
Yeah, Victor, you just want to maybe
yeah, maybe I can add something. The thing is, I think Rahul and Duke already said quite a lot, but I would just say let's just take a simple example. Like, how do you learn to play football? You can watch all the videos in the world and you can see how people play football, but if you don't practice, you don't measure your skills against some other people, then you don't improve or you don't learn. So watching the videos is one thing, but then you need to have a way of evaluating or measuring, the skills that you've acquired. Because just looking or reading stuff about Python, it can seem like you understand what is happening, but if you don't challenge yourself with a project or, I don't know, online test or whatever, then you really cannot know where you stand. So sometimes following these courses is good, but then you really, really need to practice, because if you don't practice, it just remains like you watching Zidane playing football, but then, you can never be Zidane if you don't put in the necessary work and measure your skills after some time. So that's a little bit what I can add to what Raul already said. And so, for example, like football as well, you need to identify a coach that is competent as well. So maybe there, I think as a reference, we can start with like some academia. So going like to renowned universities like Stanford, Oxford just have a base before going about all these YouTube and all these videos that you find online. Thank you.
Okay. So question 2. How can I balance?
Four wants to add something. I don't know. Can you see? Maybe I can help you with monitoring. Who wants to contribute? Yeah. Four needs.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you can add something because this question was meant for you. So maybe I don't know if you want to also, take from question 1 and you dive into question 2. Is that possible?
Well, it's possible. Why not? That's why we are here, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to be able to add to the first question. Sorry. Just to be able to add to the first question, I think Vicky and the rest have already given very brilliant ideas, but I just want to give my personal testimonial and approach. So usually the way I do stuff in learning, it's not going about reading the books, for example, but I actually get like a broad knowledge of what AI is all about and what it can do. And as Vicky said, I set up a challenge of something I want to achieve, a project. And I begin from day one, focusing on only what I want to achieve and learning how to do what I want to achieve. So I narrow myself down, like laser focus on my project. I don't go about learning maybe all the various regression models or things like that. No, I just know that the problem, I want to be able to do this or do that or do this, and then I do research on how to do it and do that and do that. And so it's a step-by-step process for me, working on my project and researching every day, taking one step at a time. And that has always been the best learning way for me in terms of software or in terms of whatever. That's exactly how I learned software, and that's how I learned everything. And that's why even though I was doing mathematics, but even while in the university, I was already building and releasing software, not because I knew everything about software, but just because I started up with a project and I was working every day only on my project, one step at a time. How do I create this button? How do I make this link clickable? How do I get data to the database? How do I remove this data? How do I store it, for example? And I was doing it day by day and building this software and learning on it. And before the end of the 6 months, I already had the software which was up and running. Then it helped me to be more practical. It was more exciting, and I was even more motivated to continue working on a daily basis. Because if you're just reading sometimes without any vision, then sometimes it might become really boring for you, and you might lose control. You might be learning everything and not knowing what to put your focus on. So that's just what I wanted to add for the first question.
Do you want to take on the second, Ms. Yali?
Okay, the second question: how can I balance study time with work and social aspects while pursuing AI and data analytics? Yeah, I think it's just a basic principle in life where everything, not just limited to AI or data analytics, but in life you just have to have a disciplined schedule, right, for everything which you do. Have a time, set up your timetable in your life and be disciplined. Define your goals, and you set up your day to achieve those goals, and you celebrate no matter how small, one step, one day at a time. Because, of course, if you're working, if I understand the question well, I'm guessing talking about maybe work, like myself, who is working super busy, having 1,001 things to do and other social commitments, but also being able to pursue a career in something which is, this is really typical of me, because every day I spend my time building software, coaching my team, but also I was able to find the time to do or learn AI and data analytics. So I actually set up a schedule where I defined my time, and I set up every day 30 minutes only for learning new stuff. And for a particular month, I defined a subject which I want to learn. So for the past 2 months, no, sorry, not for the past 2 months, but a couple of months, I dedicated all my learnings, the 30 minutes a day of my schedule, to AI. And that's what I did. So every day, just 30 minutes. But if you see that if you do it 30 minutes a day, let's say if you're doing Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, or 20 days a month, you see that in a month you would have spent over 600 hours on AI if you are that disciplined, and if you take just 30 minutes a day. You don't need a lot of time. So this learning is about maybe watching a video or be doing something practical on my project. Yeah, some days, especially since I had something to do, I already had an idea or which I wanted to implement AI on it. Some days I even spend more time on it, just because I was fascinated at what I could come up with, and I'm really happy with my answer, with my results. Sorry. So that's a little bit of how I do it. So I don't know if maybe any other person wants to add, but that's my strategy. So just put in a very small amount of time, but being consistent on it, being disciplined, one day, one step at a time.
Okay, I think I can pick some keywords like consistency. Consistency is also very important. Having a plan of action. Duke, I know I know you personally. You're always out there having fun and all those stuff. So how do you balance it? How do you balance your fun life, your social life, and being able to Monday you're there again and you'll be very active on top of your game?
Yeah, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think the way I balance my study and work and social and also family time is by doing effective time management planning. So I really have to set times. I know that, for example, because for me, data science, AI, everything around this is a continuous learning, right? So you don't stop learning. You get a new project, you're faced with new tools that maybe you never used them before. You have to find time to, So I think you really have to have a planning tool. If in your calendar you can use it to set your timelines to say, okay, every day, if you have your goals and then you decide how long you want to spend to develop these goals. But one thing I have to say is that these goals must be realistic. You don't have to push yourself to say, oh, I want to become a data scientist in 1 month or in 1 week. To me, these are kind of unrealistic goals. So you set targets that you know that you can meet them. You don't have to push yourself so hard, and you also have to make sure that when you set this goal, you make a plan. You should also try to follow it, right? Because if I want to go out, for example, in a weekend to have a beer with friends, then I make sure that I put in more time for studying, for work, other times in the week to make free time available for me to do other stuff. So that's how I try to manage it.
Okay, thanks, Duke. Maybe I also just want to give you a little bit background of the kind of audience we attract most of the time. Let's say out of 10 people we can attract, 9 of them will have a non-technical background and they are interested in gaining skills in AI and data analytics because they want to learn a job. We all know it's a booming field and there are a lot of opportunities around this area. So most of them don't have any technical background. So I believe they are finding it difficult to pick it up on their own. So I guess that's why you see these questions coming in like, okay, how can I balance my time? So those kind of things. I just want for you guys to understand, out of 10, we can have 8 that are non-technical or 8 to 9 that are non-technical, and just 1 technical guy which can actually pick that up. We have a lot of questions. So I think, your hand is up.
Yes, Ivo, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I just want to say, for those who are really new or people who are planning to venture into data analytics, I just want to say it is a very technical field, so you really have to get your hands dirty. Now, and the learning curve when it comes to data analytics is very steep, probably in the first 6 months, then it becomes flat. So you learn quite a lot in the first 6 months. And the only way you could really become a good data analyst or you really practice in AI is to spend longer hours learning, practicing, getting your hands dirty, working on projects. And these things really need time. So my advice for you, especially if you want to join the field of data analytics or you want to learn data, is that you should spend more. You should not give up, because of course it's at the beginning it's really difficult putting things together, learning programming, writing code or web development, all these things. It's really time consuming. So I want you to have it at the back of your head that you need to put more time, and you need to reduce the social life and spend more time studying. Then when you get it, when you're comfortable, and like I said, it's very steep in the first 6 months. When you know where you are and you're good, then you can now increase the social life a bit, and then works. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so for that input. I think I will channel this question to Victor. It's all about visualizations and conducting analysis. So how can we improve storytelling? Because having the visualization dashboard, either using Power BI or Tableau, whatsoever, is just one aspect, but actually telling the story to the stakeholders in a way they can understand, because most of the time the stakeholders are non-technical. So what has been your experience, or what can you say about this?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. Yeah, this one is a little bit more complex, but I'll say to simplify things, I would say number one, you really need to know your audience, like who's in front of you. And yeah, so these kind of things you really get to know by interacting a lot with your environment. So not just sitting on your laptop and doing stuff, but you really need to know, yeah, how the company works, really networking, getting to know hierarchy, and really trying to search around to see how other presentations are being done. And I think, yeah, once you have this context and who is in front of you and what they like, what they don't like, I think then one other essential skill is really what do you what do you want to show? What do you want to tell? It's a story, so you have like an end goal that you want to achieve, and so everything about the story should really drive towards this goal that you want to achieve. And maybe even from the start of the slides, like you would tell a story, you would already give highlights, and then you make the audience really wanting to get to know more. But really, from the start, it should be clear what you're trying to achieve or what you're trying to say or what you're trying to tell. And then the data just comes to accompany that story, but not just start by, showing figures all over the place. Sometimes it's not even really necessary. It's really, okay, what do you want to tell as a story? And just try to put in, the numbers to accompany you tell the story. So the numbers just accompany you to tell or to make a statement, and not the numbers should be the focus of the story. No, it's really they accompany you to tell something about, the business and stuff like that. So it's really, for me, I would summarize by saying knowing the audience and really have a plan, like have a story you want to tell, and use your data, your visualizations to accompany you tell the story, and not putting the visualizations as the end goal. No, these are like just things to accompany you tell a story. So
Okay.
that's and you also, but for example, visualization is also a skill like data analysis. So also you need to put some work in there to understand essentials of visualization. So sometimes, it's not just going and putting visualizations out there. You also need to understand a little bit the fundamentals of visualization, dimensions and stuff. So it's also a field on its own, and I think you need to dedicate some time to really understand this field as well. Although it's somehow neglected most of the time, but it's really a whole full skill, I would say, like data or a programming skill as well. So let's just say it's like programming, if you put it like that.
Okay, Vicky, so thanks for that. Thanks for that, because there is a lot, especially when it comes to technical guys. We find it sometimes difficult in order to tell our stories to the stakeholders, because that's the most important thing. If you do something and you are not able to explain, then I guess you will not effectively communicate. I see Fua, you raised your hand. You can go ahead and add something.
Yeah, just to add to what Vicky was saying, which is really, really critical. There's something which I learned, which I just want to share too. I learned about the prep strategy. which has always worked for me. Well, I think 90% of the time, because I spend a lot of time of my time talking to customers, presenting, because I'm actually doing more of business development too. So they call it the PREP strategy, PREP. So which means that PREP stands for point, reason, example, and then your point again. So you start with your point. So when you're presenting or a story, or you want to the emphasis, you give the point you want, then you move to the reason, and then you give an example of it, and then you end up with the point. So I can give a basic example. I can say, for example, in 2028, Cameroon is going to be a rich country. That's my point. My reason, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because from the statistics, first of all, the birth control rates in Cameroon, we see that Cameroon is having a very young, youthful population, and the average age of a Cameroonian is between 20 to 35 years old, which contributes a large labor force of the economy. And from all the pointers, we see that more and more, because of the war in Ukraine with Russia, the European countries are looking more towards exports from Africa. So Cameroon, being in the center of Africa and with a strong agricultural network, stands a huge chance of exporting to European markets and thus increasing the GDP. That's an example. We can see a clear example of the increase in demand from the oil, the drilling industry, because of they have stopped importing oil from Russia. So increasingly in Nigeria and Cameroon, there's more demand for the Cameroonian oil. So I go back to my point again. So all of that, conclusively, my point is that in 2028, Cameroon, we can see that Cameroon is going to be a very rich country. So you can see that I've just used the PREP strategy and given you a strong example. Please, it's something I completely made up. Please don't take any of those statistics as factual. But I was just making them up just to give you an just to give you the PREP and to see how it really keeps you on your feet, because it keeps people wanting to listen to you all the time. So if you keep doing that, giving your points, using the PREP strategy, then you're going to really be good at storytelling. So that was just what I wanted to add.
Wow.
Maybe if I can also add, because practice makes perfect, right? And presenting is a skill on its own, as Victor was saying. The more you practice, the better you become at it. And also, if you have to do a presentation, it's good to prep as much as possible with some friends, with some family, just put them there, let them listen to you. Even someone who has no insight about a topic that you're trying to present, if he or she can understand what you're trying to say, then you're probably doing a good job. So preparation, using the right visuals, because there are some visuals that convey messages better than others. Bar chart versus pie chart, all those type of things. And also, as Victor was saying, really know your audience, because you won't use the same language, the same jargon, not the same type of preparation if you're talking to management than if you're talking to someone technical. And if there's someone technical within your audience, then depending on how important that person is in the audience, then maybe that's your target as to the person that you have to convince when conveying your message. So a lot of parameters that come all together, and at the end of the day, also try to watch videos of speakers. How do they do it? The tone of the voice is also quite important when you're presenting, because also as an analyst, it's not all the analysis that you have done that will be relevant. Unfortunately, sometimes when you've done a lot of work, very amazing work, a lot of good analysis, you have to leave them, for example, if you're talking to management, right? Because they are not very much interested in in everything that you've done. They just want to get the headlines. What are the key messages? What should I learn from the analysis that you've done? So.
Okay, thanks. This is a very interesting one, because we are actually doing a challenge. and we have the final presentation. I believe two of the participants are on this call. So guys, I hope these tips will really help you to come up with your final presentation, because assumption is one of the stakeholders is very, very technical and the other is know nothing about statistics or data science. He's just interested in the business. So guys, I think this is very, very helpful. Okay. Next question. Yeah. How can I progress from being a novice to becoming an expert in AI and data analytics? Maybe I'll start with Rahul. Rahul, I believe, yeah, maybe many years back you were a novice, right? You never just left your mother's womb and become an expert. So how did you transition? How was it? What are the things you have been doing in order to become an expert, and now you're working with PW at the top level?
So one key point is really a mentor, right? Or if you fall in the hands of a good boss. So having someone with whom you're working who knows the ins and outs of the job, of the techniques, who is good at programming, that's the easiest way to learn. Because if the person has let's say good scripts, well documented, that's how you become. I mean, you're more likely to become like them instead of if you're working with someone who is programming all over the place, no documentation, no comments, whatever. That's your starting point, and you're very likely to also get let's say his or her bad habit. So overall, I would say practice. Look at well, online there are a lot of platforms, right, who have GitHub codes. If you search first, for example, you want to do, I don't know, you want to implement a machine learning model using a given technique, somebody must have already done it somewhere. So just get to know what are the different fora where you can get scripts, and from there also some people have already commented, some people have already had like the script of the use cases. So it's just about knowing where to find information. That's how you learn from others, leverage what others have done, and yeah, easily become also an expert in that respect.
Wow. So keyword, having a mentor is very, very important. And hopefully you are in a team where, you have some people that are ahead of you in the game and they are willing to also, hold your hand. Okay. I also maybe Victor, I know, you all started this thing when we were back in Vessel Boya. How come have you, like build up yourself to this level that you're now at the manager level at EY?
Yeah, so thank you. So yeah, indeed, like I said in the beginning, it's like a hierarchy of things. So number one is the fundamentals. If you have a good base, then on top of that base you can build like a lot of good things. So if your foundation is not stable, no matter what you try to put on top, at some point in time it can collapse. So number one, you really need to focus on the fundamentals. So if you want to become a good data and AI expert, you really need to focus and understand the building blocks of AI and data in general. And once you have this, I would say, this good base, it's very easy for you to learn other new skills. But if you try to take shortcuts along the line, you would see that you would need to, you need to dispense a lot of energy to acquire new skills that will enable you to grow. So really don't rush it. Really spend some time to understand the basics. How do the things connect with each other? How does visualization play with programming? Understanding the business context. So you really need to understand the basics. And once you understand the basics, and like Rahul say, you have a good mentor, so you also need to choose your mentor wisely. And then I think the rest, keep being motivated, be open to learn, because you would never know everything. Even, for example, right now, the rate at which AI and data is evolving, there's no way you can keep up with everything. So, but then once you have a good base, it's easy for you to understand how something works, but maybe you don't know the nitty-gritties of what is happening inside. And as you grow as well, you're going to also start gaining other skills, not really too technical skills, but you may be getting people skills and other skills. So that's how you also grow. You also grow in other skills as well. But then once you have the fundamentals, it's easy to fall back. But if you don't have a good base, I don't think you can even move forward. It's very difficult. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
I think Raul needs to say
Raul.
something.
Yeah.
No, indeed. Just to be able to bounce back on that, because indeed it depends on your background, right? Because if you have done, I mean, you can, to me, you could have studied English and French and still become a very good AI data analytics expert. How? If you're surrounded by the right people, you know. You need not start from scratch if you have, I mean, someone who has been through that road, and with his or her experience will be able to explain things to you, to the lowest level that you'll be able to assimilate it. So that's a very important point, because I remember and what I also see from my experience from other people who are studying statistics, talking to people who have been there. They already have some scripts available that they can share with you, explain to you, okay, this is what the script does, this is how it works, and so forth. So please try to leverage as much as possible from the experiences of people who have been there, done it, and who are still doing it, you know, because then you're going to, let's say, easily scale up your skills and your understanding.
Okay, thanks. Very, very important. You know, that's one of my core message about you need to learn from an industry professional, because you can learn very, very fast. You will not commit the same mistake of the industry professional, because I believe, Raul, there were so many things you were doing wrong before, but now you already know. And if you're teaching someone, you just give the person the right script. You don't, yeah, so very, very important. The next question is for Duke and Afua. This is the last question for this section. So Duke, you there? So the question is, how can I learn AI and data analytics skills, especially if I have little background in the field? I believe we have answered this question again, but maybe your own input can be good.
Yeah, I think learning AI and data analytics skills, the first thing is, I mean, if you have little or no background in data and in AI and data analytics, the first thing is first to get a high level information, like what is AI and data analytics. This is something you have to first of all understand before diving into it, before thinking, oh, you don't have to get into AI and data analytics because you see that people around you maybe are driving good cars because they are working in AI and data analytics. The first thing is that you have to be able to evaluate yourself, understand the topic from a high level point of view, and then start by taking even dummy courses. You know, you have a lot of courses like data science for dummies, you know, where you can get like some introduction into some of these the different domains in AI and data analytics, where they explain like for people who have no knowledge at all. So even the training courses that you take, you have to make sure that they are tailored to people who have little or no background, because some of the programs that are out there, some of the courses that are out there are really tailored for people. They assume that before you take these courses, right, you have at least some basic statistics knowledge and some basic maths knowledge or physics or whatever. But if you don't have this basic statistics knowledge or core skills that are required, core hard skills that are required, like programming and stuff, it's good to start very basic. So that's my advice for somebody who is coming from no background at all. And then you go step by step from basic to intermediary. Then you can start taking advanced courses, you know, until you get to the level where you build up these skills and develop yourself to become an AI or expert data analyst.
Okay.
So I think.
Yeah. So thanks, Duke, for that. That was a very good insight. Yeah.
Just to add one extra word, right?
Okay.
Passion. If you have passion, you can do everything, you know. So once you're passionate, even if you have zero background, you'll be able to cover anything. I think.
Okay. Thanks, Raul. Passion. That's really true. Yeah, because there are times that it's quite challenging for you, and if there's no passion in it, you will give up. Do you want to wrap up this? If you have someone coming to you, maybe after having a bachelor's degree in, let's say in biology, and they want to dive into the field of AI, data analytics, or software, what is going to be your advice?
Yeah, I think we have maybe really given most of the key points, and for me, it all starts with passion, because as Raul rightly said, if you don't have passion, then every other thing is really worthless. So once you have the passion, that means you have that inner drive, that inner motivation where you want to really push forward. No matter what you meet on the way, you would have the tenacity to be able to push it aside, because the journey is not an easy one. I must brace everyone up. You have to also do a gap analysis, because now you said you have no skill. So you see that the gap is really wide. So you have to, which means that the sacrifice you have to make should even be greater, which means put the number of hours that you are putting in the dedication, the focus, the practice, the push. That's really what you need to be able to move forward. I think at the office here, yes, we have had people who have come with accounting backgrounds and they wanted to do, well, in this case, not AI specifically, but programming. And some of them fell off and some of them went through. And those that went through, I noticed that, of course, they had the passion, they had the dedication, and they had the drive, and they really wanted it. Not because they saw somebody who was rich or doing well and wanted to do well too, but just because that's really what they wanted. Because if you go in because you have a friend who is living large because he's into AI, then I can bet you there's a high chance you will not make it. But you have to go in because that's really what you want, and you have decided that that's your journey to move forward. So that's what I want to add. But I think there's a hand up. I think Sam's hand is up, so maybe he has something to add to.
Duke, is there something you want to add?
No, my hand was up before.
Okay, that is fine. Okay, so first round of questions, I think we have really touched, and I believe even when we move to the other set of questions, some of the things already have been mentioned. So we can be fast about that. Normally, we program this for 1 hour. I don't know if the audience are willing to extend, and also the panel, if you're willing to extend, we can go further. I just want to ask the panel, if the panel is good to continue, then I think we can move ahead. For the audience, if for some reason you didn't plan to extend, you can drop, you can leave the call. But my question, I just want to seek the permission from the panel. So Duke, are you good to continue? Because it's already 9. Raul, Victor, and 4. I just need to confirm.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, good. So the second question, the second set of questions is about industry insights and strengths. But before I move to those questions, I really want to say, let's say out of 10 students or 10 AI and data analytics enthusiasts that come to us, I just have realized that most of the things, the main challenge is like the lack, the mentorship. And I think that's what we have been doing so far. And most of the answers so far has been around mentorship. So if you're on this call and you feel like you really need to get into the field and you don't know which route to take, or you don't have a plan of action, feel free. That is part of what we also offer at Graffiland, right? We can help you come up with a plan of action. It is very, very important. sometimes I'll receive a student come and telling me I need to learn Python. I'll ask you, why do you want to learn Python? They'll say, because I heard that Python is trending. That shouldn't be the route. So make sure if you have challenges, you can come to us and we do career coaching. And you see, we have a lot of professionals in the field where we can partner you with the professionals and they can actually help you come up with a plan of action in order to achieve your goals in the field of AI and data analytics. Okay, so question 1, just before I move ahead, I will just put the link in the chats. If you want, you can always get the link or visit our website. Question 1 for the second group is what steps can I take to become a professional data analyst? I think, yeah, we'll keep we have somehow answered the questions already, but maybe this time around, someone can really just go straight to the point. Duke, for example, if you were not a data analyst, or if you were to rewind the hands of time and say, okay, I want to become a professional data analyst, what are the steps you would take in order to achieve that goal?
So, first of all, I would assume that becoming a data analyst, to become a professional data analyst, what I would do first is maybe take university courses, related to this domain, and to build myself from, for example, from like a student to a professional. The first thing I would do is that I would go out there on LinkedIn, for example, and look at, okay, if I look at job opportunities on LinkedIn, for example, relating to data analysis, analytics, then I would try to make a cluster of what are the skills that are required, that companies require. What are the skills? What are the tools that I see in almost every job offer, right? Then that will give you an idea about it, how the job market is out there, and then you can weigh yourself. What skills do you already have, and which tools do you already have? Maybe, for example, at uni you learn SAS and R, but after then you come, if you come to the job market, you see that employers are also looking for people who have skills in Python, who have skills in Hadoop, for example, who have skills in Azure or AWS and these kind of things. Then you have to start training yourself in these domains. You have to start trying to acquire these skills to get ready for the market. So for me, that is how I would approach it. I would do certifications, for example, because if you go to prove to the employer that you have a skill, it's always good to do certifications. For example, cloud certifications in Azure. You have Azure data scientist. You have different modules, which for the employers is very they find it very, very interesting to prove as a skills. You have the Azure data analyst certification, for example, that you can do through Azure, and it shows like a proof to the employer, and through this you can get on your first job, and as in your consecutive jobs, I would continue to develop myself, looking at is there a new tool, because in the domain you see that everyone and between from 1 year to the next, there's a new tool, there's a new programming language, there's a new way of doing this, there's a new package. You always have to keep yourself updated with this information, so that you have to upgrade yourself constantly. And I think, yeah, for me, that is how I would develop myself to become a professional data analyst.
Okay, thanks for that, for those steps. Rahul, do you want to add something to what Duke said?
Yes, very briefly, right? Because there are really, there is no single way of doing it, right? And to me, the best way is really talk to someone who has been there, done that. I think now with LinkedIn, you are one message away, right, to get the experience of someone who has been through, who is going to advise you on which university, for example, should you consider, what courses should you follow, on which platform. So basically really talking to few people is already going to give you their experience. And each of the professionals that you see today, they could have maybe done things differently had they known what they knew today, or had they have someone who will be able to lead them and advise them on which career path to or which things to do. So please, once more, talk to people who have been there, who are still working in the field, because they are client facing. They're in the industry. They know the coming trends. They know what is working, what is not. So it's 100-fold easier to talk to someone who is doing it. That's what I wanted to add.
Okay. I think that ties to what I just mentioned about the mentorship, right? So if you know you're shy of meeting people on LinkedIn, definitely you can come to us and we'll help you bridge that gap where we can connect you with industry professionals to help you with career coaching. The next question, this is for, I think, Victor. How can I learn more about the development of AI and stay updated on trends in the field? We know a lot of information out there now with AI and data analytics. What is your advice on keeping up with the trend?
Yeah, I think like in the previous topics, there's no one good solution. So it's just depending on your profile. If you're someone that likes to read books, or if you're a social media person, you can just look at the top people in the AI field, and then you just connect to those people and just keep following them. If there's any new thing, they will pop up or they will make a post or something like that, and then based on the post, you can then start digging in to understand what it's all about. Or once in a while, you can just go and Google, you search what are the top new things in AI. But I would say the easiest way to keep up is really just look at the top guys in the field and try to follow them. Subscribe to news feed, to newsletters, and I think pretty much that's the way to go about it. So you get like the headlines or the flash, and then if you see something there that triggers you, in fact, just keep your ears open. Even at work, you might hear people discussing about things. Just be curious. I think that's the attitude. Just be curious. Like, if you're curious, there are so many things that you will learn. For me, I'll put it like that. Just be curious, follow the news, the trends, what is happening around you. Just
Okay,
just
great.
keep an eye on your surroundings.
Yeah, also maybe joining communities, right? Communities, people will always post things around there and so much. I think now even on TikTok, everyone is there as well too. TikTok, YouTube, people, even the technical guys are on TikTok now putting videos. So if you think your favorite platform is TikTok or Instagram, I see technical guys also going there to post some videos. So okay, I think I had 3 questions for this section. Sorry. Question 3, how can AI and data analytics skills be leveraged in the international development and humanitarian relief sector? I know none of us here is an expert in that development and humanitarian relief sector, but I don't know if any of you is inspired to say something around there. I think this was very, very specific from someone from that sector.
I can maybe say, I mean, for the development and humanitarian, for example, there are quite some data that's available, right? I don't know, on FAO, IMF, and so forth. So to me, I would say get to obtain, get those data, try to understand some issues that are present and which can be answered with those data. I think Fua was mentioning about GDP, in his fictive example. If you have data about, let's say, productivity by country, having a nice dashboard that's going to show you, for example, how the GDP of African countries is evolving. So first start with, what is the burning question that you will want to answer on humanitarian, international development, and so forth. try to obtain the data in the public sources, FAO, IMF, whatever. And with that, it gives you already some exposure on analyzing data relating stemming from those sectors.
Okay, good. I don't know. Yeah, maybe for the fact that you mentioned Ukraine and all those stuffs, I think those are areas, even Cameroon as well, right? About humanitarian reliefs. Do you want to maybe use your hypothetical example to answer this question? Is Fuad still on the call?
Yes, I'm still here, and it's a very interesting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. So as I'm saying, I think it's not a hard one to tackle because everywhere you actually need AI. I can give an example, just as Raoul was saying, sorry, just a moment ago. There's a project which we worked about vaccines in Mauritania, and we had to be able to send out messages to remind the nursing mothers on when the vaccinations were due for their kids. So there were ideas around how we can actually use artificial intelligence in trying to target these moms to be able to know where they are located. So one of the ideas which came up was that we actually had to use Google Maps plotted with the data which was collected by the hospitals to be able to get the probability of where, after sending an SMS, where a campaign team could actually physically go to and get the most number of kids vaccinated. So Google Maps data was scraped. The pictures were analyzed to be able to identify the high-end neighborhoods and the low-end neighborhoods, the neighborhoods which had a population density and the probability of having pregnant women in them, things like that. So I think that AI it can be implemented in 1,001 ways for humanitarian relief or for development. Because even when we're using tools like early warning signals and alarms that have been implemented in countries like Japan, which are subject to tsunamis and all the like. So they actually use weather data. This is all AI that they use data to collect weather patterns and know exactly the timing when they estimate or could guess that a tsunami could occur and evacuate people before the event strikes. So I think that AI in this field is just limited to our imagination. Anything we can think of, we can actually use AI to be able to achieve it in this domain, no matter the industry, not just limited to the international development or humanitarian relief, but just any domain. It's all limited to our imagination.
Okay, well, I think that's a very good one, right? So I think if there's data and there's a burning business problem, whatsoever problem, and if data is if data can leverage data to answer it, then why not? Okay. So this is the last section. I think we're left with like 3 more questions. But before we go, I just also want to let the audience know that we have been talking about these trainings, and maybe some people have recommended you going back to university. Some of the candidates or students we have received, they don't want to go back to university. So they are looking for shorter ways in order to learn the skills. And that's what we do here at Graffiland. So we offer trainings, and our trainings are being instructed by industry professionals. You have already understood or listened to the advantages of learning from an industry professional. It's not like we follow, it's more like we go straight to the point and we give you what you need to know in order to gain the skills very, very fast. So this is just a sneak peek into what we do. We have other trainings going on, and you can either scan this QR code, but I'm also going to paste the link on in the chat section. Now, there is also a new training coming up. This one is quite new. So it is become a data pro, skills for high demand enterprise. So I'm going to allow Victor to just, maybe give some insights about this course, because you are the one that came up with this course. Who are you targeting? What is it all about? What are the learning outcomes, or what is expected? Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, so just to summarize a little bit, this course is about, because a lot of people hear about Python and all the other skills that you really need to, I would say, to become a data pro or to survive within this data, yeah, data field. And so this course is really not only related to Python, but really all the skills that you need to be able to work within a corporate environment, or in fact, working with other people, because you can be like the best programmer, you can know how to do, you have a really good skills, but then to be able to grow and to survive, you also need other skills. So this course is really to give you like a snippet into what it looks like to work in I'd say, in an industry standard within the data and analytics field. So it's just to give you highlights on the kind of tools that you expect, the kind of ways of working, some skills that you need to collaborate. And this is really a summary of what this course is really about. And then we'll try to do a little bit some implementations of what we discussed using skills like Python, a little bit of programming. When you program, you need to put the code somewhere. So we'll look at Git, and then talk a little bit about the agile way of working. So it's just a summary of what it feels like to work in a corporate environment. And I think with this kind of skills, when you're going into an interview, I think you would easily, these are the kind of skills that they subtly want to get from you. And sometimes they will not explicitly ask this kind of questions, but they just want to see if you can really, like they can say you can hit the road running, so that you would not need to come in and then they need to spend 6 months getting you to understand how to work within this kind of environment. They just want you to come in and be able to contribute on day one. So these are the skills that you would need to be able to go somewhere and start contributing to an ongoing project without needing extra time to to learn these little basic skills.
Okay. Very, very important. Also, you can really find more details about this program on the website. So I've provided the link in the chat section, and also maybe after the meeting, I'm going to send you the link. But I really want to emphasize that, Victor is very, very busy, and normally not everyone is going to be admitted. So when you apply, we're going to analyze your profile to see if you meet up with the basic requirements in order to join the program. So scan, and we are going to tell you if you meet up with the requirements. Okay, so that was it. So maybe we can go back to our questions. I think based on the panel, you're the only one in Cameroon right now. So maybe I'll direct this question to you. How can I secure a remote data analytics job in Cameroon? Is that even possible? What is your take on that?
Yeah, so it's a chicken and egg problem. So because data analysts, it's true, I'll be very honest that the demand in Cameroon is not as high as maybe out of Cameroon, maybe Europe, the US, but there is a demand though, because increasingly many companies are realizing the competitive edge they're going to have with the use of data and analyzing that data to keep up or be one step ahead of their competitor. So banks, media houses, all these guys are actually using data analytics. I mean, I have friends who have been doing some trainings or helping consulting with some CEOs with their data. So to be able to have a remote job, in this case out of Cameroon, it's still possible, but it's not very obvious. It's not very obvious because most companies now actually, while they are working with developers who are remote, but this remote is mostly limited within the country, because to pay them they want to pay the social insurances of the people, and their governments do not allow them because the governments would most governments want to raise their employment. That's why you can see even the US now, they're having challenges and economic issues, and they want to take out their outsourcing, which is outsourced to India back to the US, and even in Europe it's the same. So it's going to really be an advantage. Sorry, difficult, but the only advantage you can have is if you are super skilled, as if you can prove beyond reasonable doubt as to why you should be taken over someone in the local country. Let's say Vicky. Why should they choose you in Cameroon over Vicky, who is based in Belgium? So which means that you must really have something that Vicky doesn't have, and that's not easy. So it's a chicken and egg problem, but it's possible. Don't give up. But I can promise you that it's not an easy one.
Yeah, I think you just probably because I actually answered that question a few days ago, and that was probably my idea as well too, because it's not going to be easy, especially if you're based in Cameroon and if they have to probably skip all the very good profiles here in Europe or in the US to come pick you in Cameroon, then that means you must be you must have something very, very special. So I just wanted to add to that. I don't know if the person's on the call, but it's not to discourage you, but my idea is always start local. For I just mentioned that even companies in Cameroon too are now understanding, or like they know the importance of the data and how to leverage it to be competitive. So why look far? Meanwhile, you can showcase your skills to companies in Cameroon. We know it's quite difficult, but I think it's preferable to start local. Okay.
Yeah, and sorry, please, can you permit me to add something to this question?
Okay.
Yeah, so just to add again, that in Africa, as I said, don't limit yourself to just Europe, but even in Africa, increasingly the demand is growing, but it's not as how it is already in the Western world. But another thing which you can equally do is that you can equally start collecting data for yourself, analyzing this data and selling this data, because the advantage we have is that most companies who want to come to Africa or Cameroon don't know how to start or where to start, because there is really little or no data. So if you are local, collecting this data and analyzing this data and selling to these companies or to these NGOs, then you really stand a great chance. Because we don't collect data. Even go to the hospital here, how many kids are immunized? We have data, but in ledgers. We are still using traditional methods. So how can we digitize all this data and be able to leverage from it? So you must not look for a job per se, but you can also think smart and become an entrepreneur and earn a good living. Yeah, so don't just think about jobs only. That was just what I wanted to add.
Okay. Thanks for, I think, that is very important, that coming from you, because you're based in Cameroon and you know the challenges back in Cameroon. So second question, are there available data analyst internships? Raul, do you have internships? Maybe there's someone here on the call based in Europe that is looking for internships.
I mean, it's always yes or no, because companies often have projects or ideas that they want to investigate, and it's double-edged because often with internships, they will invest in someone whom they can hire later on, right? Because it's a two-way street. The student is working, let's say, for a relatively decent amount of money. Meanwhile, the company is also training him or her to hire them later on. So I'll instead approach it from another perspective. If you are acquired, let's say, a couple of skills in data analytics, data analysis, and so forth, my suggestion or advice would be to get in touch with, for example, we're talking about NGOs. There are potentially some managers, some directors who have, let's say, the industry or business knowledge, but they lack the technical skills, which you have already acquired via the trainings that you have done, either with Graffiland or any other training that you have done. But if you don't put yourself out there requesting or informing potential, let's say, people who can give you data, you'll never be able to get it. So my advice is get in touch with people who potentially will have data and projects on which you can work on, but most essentially data. And at the same time, as Fua mentioned, also try to be entrepreneurial, because as a data analyst, we have learned I would say tools, because I consider all the machine learning techniques, whatever algorithm that we're using, as tools, right? Tools that can be used in order to answer specific problems within a specific setting, right? Because when we walk on the street or we go to the supermarket, we can think of how we can use a dashboard to, for example, show all the sales and so forth. When we go to, I don't know where, everywhere we go, there's potentially a solution that can be, or there's potentially a problem that can be answered based on data analytics and data analysis skills. So it's about being aware, and then look around you, try to search for potentially also available open source data that you can use to answer specific questions. So not just wait in order to get a job, wait in order to get an internship, but try to create something for yourself, as Fua was also mentioning.
Yeah, and the job market is getting very, very competitive. For a simple internship position, you see 100 applications or more. So I don't think relying on internship is a good strategy, but yeah. I think this is probably almost basically the same, right? Scholarships and fellowships in AI and data analytics. Am I right? Or Raul, the same, right? Do you think we need to answer this, or you have something to add, Victor, as well? Anything?
Nothing to add from my side. I think it's the same. And for example, sometimes it becomes very competitive. So for you to be able to get some of these scholarships, you need to already show that you have some skills than more than other people. So you need to already start, practicing, playing around with some projects that you can motivate to get this kind of scholarship. So I think it's just getting your hands dirty with something already. Like when you're going to apply for these things, you need to motivate, and then you can use all these skills that you acquire or projects you're working on as a motivation for scholarships and fellowships. So
yeah, because there was one post that I liked about Ivo, about the digital CV, because if I'm a hiring manager today, I would want to hire someone who will be hopefully directly operational as from tomorrow, instead of someone that I will have to train to work. So with your digital CV that, I think Ivo, you also shared a couple of months on LinkedIn. It already showcases with your GitHub page what you have done. It already gives an idea of your flexibility and your know-how in using, I don't know, Python or whatever in a specific setting. So that's something that I will encourage everybody to have in terms of dashboard. Have a page where you highlight your the dashboard that you have developed, in which use case and in which industry. That way, you make yourself, let's say, you put yourself a bit high on the list by having evidence that you have done this, that you have the capabilities to be operational as from day one if you are given the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I remember that post. It was about the technical CV. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ivo, if I may, I would also like to add that for those who want to challenge themselves, Kaggle is a good place where they have a lot of companies come and launch their projects there, where people can work on them and even win money. But the interesting thing for Kaggle, for people who are new in the field, is that there you would see past projects, like real company use cases, and you would see solutions, how they were solved, what was the problem, how they were solved, what approach they used, and you can use them to to challenge yourself as well, and learn a lot from them.
Yeah, that's true. I remember when I started also, I really leveraged Kaggle a lot. So it's a very good, especially if some people say they don't have data. I think they give you a business problem and they also give you the data. So there should be no complaint about not having data. Yeah. Okay, so closing remarks. I will just maybe each and every one on the panel will just maybe one last advice for our audience. But before we do, I want to say one of the things we do at Graffiland, we also provide resources. You guys, you've been complaining that maybe you don't have access to resources. We try as much as possible to release resources. So we have some trainings that we have released for free, events. I do like in general, we do a lot of write-ups, sometimes technical, sometimes less technical. Sometimes also help you in order to how to approach employers, how to write up your CV, how to, especially those parts those sections or those skills that you would not learn at school. So we also try to do a lot of write-up around those areas. So there are a lot of free resources you can leverage on Graffiland's website, and also on YouTube. We now have like almost 20 videos on YouTube, which you can leverage. So I'm going to paste the link, but everything all the links so far are based on Graffiland's website. So you can really go to Graffiland's website and leverage all of this. Okay, so maybe Duke, I'll start from you. What is your, just very, very brief, your advice for our audience, for those that are technical already, for those that are non-technical? So try to consider, because I know some people are already much, much technical and they still want to gain more skills. Some people don't have any technical skills. So take that in mind when you're,
Yeah, for me in general, I would say that you need I'd encourage everyone to have a coach. Find a coach, find some place where if you have difficulties, you can go and seek help for solutions or for advice or to get updates. And for those who are technical, I would say that you have to keep challenging yourself. The skills never get. There is no point where you say, okay, now I have learned enough that I can call myself an expert. Like Victor said, till now we still meet new challenges as well. I would say continue to develop your skills, continue to challenge yourself. And for those who are new, who have little or no knowledge about data analytics and AI, I would say that it always begins with a step. For us as well, it began with a step. So don't be discouraged. You have to motivate yourself and try to find some passion in it, and reach out to Graffiland. They have the expertise. We are there to coach you. They have the resources to guide you from the first step. So I think that is, in brief, what I would like to say as my final remark.
Okay, thanks, Duke, and also thanks for recommending Graffiland to the audience. Raul? Is Raul on the call? Or okay, Fua, do you want to wrap up?
Yeah, just to wrap up, I can say we are living in one of the best times in history, especially in terms of technology. And those who are here already following up this session in the best place, because they are already aware of the future, because AI is all around us. It is us, and it has come to stay. Now everything, we're having smart cars, robotics, everything is taking over the world, and you would not be part of it if you are not doing something about AI. So don't be left out, because now there is a general fear that people are thinking that machines are taking over and human beings are going to be useless. I don't think so. I think they're actually going to need more human beings to be able to develop more and more of those solutions in AI. So it's fantastic for the audience, and for those who want to learn. I think, yeah, as Randy said, Graffiland is going to provide some good resources, but they should keep up with the drive, the motivation to always want to do the best. Whatever they're doing, they should do the best, because just like Asake said, lonely at the top. No matter what you do, if you're at the top, there's always room for you. No matter if you're in Cameroon or wherever, if you are the best, your talent will always shine out and you're always going to achieve what you want to achieve. So work hard, focus, concentrate, get to the resources, never stop learning, never stop evolving, as Sam said. And I think that you're going to be successful on this journey, be you, whether you know nothing or you already are technical. I think we can achieve it. So that is my final remark.
Okay, thanks so much for those warm words, and I think the audience have really taken that seriously. Victor, Raul is not on the call, so you have to do the final closing remarks.
Yeah, so it's always very difficult to say something after the brilliant interventions. But like I said, yeah, you if I would advise is just surround yourself with the kind of people that you look up to, so the mentors, the industry. So just surround yourself with a little bit some people that you aspire to be like, and I think that will, in terms of motivation, that will motivate you as well to to gain the necessary skills, because you would, like, during discussions you might hear something that you're not familiar with. And yeah, it's always good to challenge yourself to be with someone that you can learn from, because I think the most important is learning. If you're in an environment where you feel like you're not learning, please look for another environment, because that environment is not good. Like, if you are somewhere at any point in life or anywhere and you feel like, yeah, nothing is moving, please change. So for me, I would say, yeah, come to Graffiland. You surround yourself with professionals, with people that can guide you along the way to become who you want to be. So I think that's all I can say. So thank you for joining this call tonight, and it was a pleasure discussing with you guys today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. I see a couple of hands in the audience. I'll take Nikita. Are you there? Maybe a female voice. A lot of male voices, and yeah, I don't know. Are you still there, Nikita? Do you want to say something?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
I was going to ask a question, but my question might spark up some more discussion, and I know we're at the last minute, so I'll save it for another time.
Okay.
Oh, it can be a food for thought. My
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
question was going to be I might have missed this. This might have been answered already or maybe highlighted on. But so far, from what I heard while I was in the call, we've been talking about how to get people to, get into, like AI and get a job. What mm, what are the prospects within the AI space for maybe technical or non-technical people to, to be a job creator, to be an entrepreneur, to do their own thing? What are the prospects? What can people do around AI that can be entrepreneurial versus trying to get a job or work for someone else?
I think that's a good one. We have an entrepreneur on the panel. I don't know why do you have the time to take this very, very fast.
And we can some other time. Worries.
Yeah, but I think it's a good one though, because we are all looking at just trying to be employees, but there's also opportunities for us to become entrepreneurs. So I think it's a good question to ask, and it might spark someone to change the mindset of why not starting something. Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, yeah, thank you for that, Nikki. That's a very good question. And as I said earlier, I think that AI is just about everything, and it's about us. And whatever we can do with AI is limited to our imagination. So you can you can become an entrepreneur using AI by just any means. I think from what I can see, maybe the first is the easiest way of entrepreneurship is to become a consultant, right? Where you can create your consultancy firm and people can consult you to analyze stuff for them. That's just one application. But again, I give another example of the guys in Mauritania who were trying to do something with data they collected from the immunization of kids for the zero dose. And I also know of some guys who are working on the project, Terra X, where they are actually using satellite data to be able to come up with the demographics on the African continent because they don't have this data. So using Google Earth and Google Map images, they are able to pick up high-end neighborhoods. So maybe using some intelligence to determine houses that have maybe swimming pools, or to determine houses that are maybe bungalows or actually flats, etc. To be able to classify the houses and know that this is a high-end neighborhood, so that for a business you can know where to position what kind of business for. I mean, what kind of activity. You cannot take some kind of let's say high-end barber shop and put in a low-end neighborhood. You're going to have no customers. So if you want to target certain kind of people or market segments, then you can be able to use that data because they have already classified the data. So that's one application. So it's TerraX, and they're actually selling this to companies. So that's another kind of a use case of AI, which they're using AI for entrepreneurship to do something. Even soccer, we are all talking about soccer. We are all soccer players, and we see the way we are actually collecting data, distance covered per player, per team, average goals, good number of completed passes, and then they give you the probability of win of a particular team and things like that. So all of those things were done by individual companies, and then they sold that data to maybe Premier League or to La Liga. So they sell those data, and even they collect that data and sell to scouts. So scouts who are looking for players, you can only jump into those data sets and get a player, and based on the statistics, you can get the probability that this player is going to do well based on his stats and things like that, because they've analyzed the data. So as I said again before, it's just limited to our imagination. We can imagine anything. We can. I think sometimes I actually think that working with a company is even limiting you because you're doing only what the company wants. But if you can be able to think for yourself, then the sky is your limit. There are many opportunities using AI in almost every aspect of your life. So I don't know if that was really an answer to your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. Lastly, Desmond, I see your hand is up. Is there a question you want to ask? Desmond?
Okay, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Ivo, and the team, the panelists. So I just want to use the opportunity to appreciate your effort and what you've said, the great insights you've given. And I'm someone, in Cameroon. I'm Cameroon basically, and I've really been passionate about data and all of that. And I must confess, when I got in touch with Graffiland, I think I've become more inspired. And it just boils down to what most of the panelists have been saying, that you start by, being around the right people. And I think Graffiland has helped me, to be able to build my mind and really become more determined. And thanks so much again for such an opportunity. And looking forward to probably, get to have maybe a private conversation with a few of the panelists, and also see how I can leverage on their expertise and company experience to see how I can continue, building that that map, because I think that's one of the problems I'm facing right now. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for this opportunity, and also want to ask if maybe the panelists, if they don't mind, to maybe share their contacts, maybe email or so maybe one can reach them on a personal basis. Thank you.
You're welcome. That is something I would definitely have to ask those on the panel, right? So if it's a yes, obviously you're going to receive an email. In fact, everyone is going to receive an email from me with the contact if they do accept to share their contact with you guys. Or indirectly, you can still get to me, Graffiland, and if there's a need, I'll contact them. Okay, guys, we are more than 45 minutes after the program time. So I really want to appreciate all those that stayed right to this moment. I believe if you're here is because you found the discussion quite interesting, and I hope what you have learned will help you to shape your career in the field of AI and data analytics. And if you still need help, Graffiland is there. You can always reach out to me. We can help you shape your career. We can help you put you on track very, very fast in order to land the job. So don't try to do on your own. Try to belong to a team. Try to belong to a community. And we are here to support you. Okay, thanks again to all the panelists. I really, really appreciate your expert ideas. It was very, very insightful, and I want to say thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.